this. All right, now that is done, let's do that. All right, I marked out all of these pivots. I'll mark out a little bit more. There's not much. These ones are fairly minor. We do have a lot of supply we're going up against on NQ. But obviously we're bullish, and it looks like we actually swept this pivot, maybe? Oh, did we not? Hang on, do we have a perfect top, folks? Oh my gosh, we have a perfect top. Or damn close to it. All right, well, I'm bullish for that to break at the minimum. Give me 1 second. Let me type out my pre-market analysis, guys. It's pretty much just bullish. ES is at all-time high, so no pivot price targets there. NQ barely missed this 282.5 pivot, though, so I'm bullish for NQ to at least sweep this yellow line up here. So that's my bias going into market open. You bought SPX calls before market open? Yeah, I'd say that's fairly regarded, Stephen, because you're gonna have a huge implied volatility dump at market open. So we'll see. It could end up working out. ES is stronger than NQ. I'm watching calls, of course. If we invalidate a majority of this drop at any point, I will be entering. It looks like ES is stronger than NQ, though, so it looks like it'll be SPX calls nice and early. Yes. I hate having to enter at market open, though, but I did enter calls. I don't even have time to alert it, to be honest. Yep, there it is. Well, hopefully you guys caught that 15-second trade. That's why my pre-market analysis is important. That's why I tell you guys before I do it what I'm going to do. I told you guys if price action invalidates a majority of that drop, I'm in calls. And I did indeed do that. So that ended up paying out pretty nicely. Yeah, it paid out very nicely. Very happy with that. Type in chat, was anyone quick enough to catch that? And now we have a million supply zones up here, but I'm still bullish. I'm keeping runner positions open. These are all nice pivots up here. I don't really know though. We've been going up all night and all morning, so I'm not very heavy into the whole call thing right now. Just because it's pretty overbought. Keeping runners to the next NQ pivots, which is 29,342 and 29,64.75. Here are those pivots. The top one is obviously bigger. but they're both very large pivots. I'm bullish for both of them to break this morning. And my calls are freaking going right now. Yeah, I still didn't even type out the contracts in my alert channel. Thank God we're doing live trading this week, because there's absolutely no way that's even possible to alert nor follow. The only chance you have is be in voice and catch it with me. If we pull back here or consolidate, I will re-add calls. But I think it's probably going to take out this first pivot before that. There's the first pivot. Just need one more now, which is 29,364. But fantastic trim point. Yeah, these Q calls are going freaking absolutely nuts. I'm literally up over 100% on them. Type in chat. Is anyone actually in this? Actually, don't type in chat until you sell, because it's like right there. I'm not even going to be able to respond. Oh, there it is. All right. Look at that. That's why I took both. I almost just took SPX because it was stronger initially. But that's why I take both. Like, that's why sometimes, if I'm biased for it to go up, I'll enter half size in SPX and half in QQQ, because I don't know which is going to end up being stronger and which is going to go more. So I uh, balance my risk out, spread out my risk, I should say. Wow. My entire pre-market analysis literally just played out in 4 1-minute candles. That is insane. And my QQQ runners are absolutely just freaking going right now. This isn't. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, I have more pivots, but they're far away. So that's why I didn't talk about them. Jeez, are you kidding me? All right, the SPX calls only got 70% gains on this runner. But the Q calls, those are shining. Those are shining right now. Jeez, dude. What are we doing? What is this market this week? I'm gonna be scared for futures again if there's gonna be any money left for me to make. Looks like the Iran war is finally done and the market's squeezing, I guess. Yeah, Q calls nearly cleared 200% gains. 178. Could have been better, but unfortunately, I filled my Q calls after my SPX, so I got a way worse fill on them at open. But I'm personally out everything now on that red candle. I didn't even have time to draw out these positions or anything. All right, now you guys can type in chat because I'll actually be able to see it. Um, who was able to catch that? You know, usually I'm not into holding for massive trades, but these last couple of days have made it pretty easy. I mean, we didn't even get a single selling wick on one of these candles. It was just straight up the entire time. That's awesome. My SPX calls are up 500%. Congratulations. Guys, that is the reason I send my stuff. You guys know I don't alert as other, like, I'm not one of those bullshit bots that, and it looks like it's going to continue up. I'll have a re-entry if we come near these pivots and bullishly consolidate. Otherwise, I'm cash now. Probably going to miss out on a bunch. I mean, my calls went insane yesterday, and they ended up like 10xing after that. So, Operation Do Not FOMO uh, may be in play today, unfortunately. Anyways, you guys know I alert very different, right? I alert in a way that you guys are not meant to just kind of trail behind me like a blind sheep. You guys are, I talk out my analysis before it happens. I share my plans with you guys, and you guys are supposed to trade alongside me because if you're just, waiting for the next alert and you're not prepared and you're waiting for my alert, like you're not going to catch it a lot of the time, especially 0-day SPX and QQQ. It just moves too fast. Um, Also, I highly recommend you guys use Active Trader if you are trading options. Most of you guys are trading futures in my server, so you guys trade a little bit different. Um, but I already have my SPX calls and puts and my QQQ calls and puts in the price range that I need before I even enter the trade. So I'm always one click away from entering calls or puts on either SPX and QQ, which is actually my tutorial video. It's on this YouTube channel. I may link it again today. It'd be pretty wicked if we finish options trading at 4 candles today. I kind of doubt it. This bullish consolidation could end up being pretty bullish, but I'm not confident in entering more calls in this heavy supply. I'd like us to get somewhere up here and then consolidate sideways, put in a flag or a pennant, and then I'd like to take it up to these pivots. But otherwise, I don't really want to keep testing my luck, really. But this is a pretty bullish candle on ES. It flips stronger than NQ by a bit. This is bullish. It looks like the market wants to continue. We'll see how far it goes. But anyways, yeah, so again, my whole thing is, especially what we do in my communities, we don't breed just alert following sheep. You will never make money. We breed sufficient traders. So you learn enough and you become profitable enough mindset wise that most of my traders don't even follow my trades, but they just happen to be in the same thing as me at the same time because they trade very similar ways or their own strategies sometimes converge with mine. So we actually focus on building traders, not building followers, because you're not going to go anywhere with the whole following game. All right, but I'll check Discord chat now. Let's see how you guys did. Me barely caught 51%. Nice. Of course, you're still in, Alex. I would not do the same thing you did yesterday, Alex. I will say that. For those of you that don't know, Alex, his portfolio was only about 400 bucks yesterday, and this freaking crazy man with diamond hands held freaking 0-day calls on SPY for like 4 hours straight, and his entire portfolio freaking 15x'd. So I really hope you withdrew those profits, dude, because I don't need that turning into another war story. Okay, you did. Congratulations, man. Don't do it again. That literally had like a 3% chance of happening statistically. Please don't. Please don't do that again, dude. Mary said you missed it. Sorry to hear that. My next pivots aren't anywhere near. QQQ calls and SPX calls are still going as they did yesterday. I'm going to need some solid consolidation up here to be able to re-enter. But honestly, I'm not super motivated. I feel like today could just be a short on. What's in the news, man? It's so freaking bullish. I might just have to hop back into Q calls, just cheaper ones. I'm hoping I get bullish consolidation. ES did not make a high day, so if ES pulls back here with this perfect top intact, it'll be a good little scalp to take. course, I'll be playing with profits now, but it'll be a nice little scalp. Yeah, Bryce, I couldn't see your trades. How do you enter at open? Because I enter them at open. The calls opened at 2.4 on the first candle and they closed at 3.3. I entered halfway up. I told you guys before market even opened, I told you guys exactly what I was going to do. Told you guys, NQ missed this pivot. If at open we invalidate a majority of this drop, which is here, I'm entering calls. And because I don't trade on the options chain, which none of you guys should, I'm one click away from entering. Just freaking market buy. Oh, NQ still going. How many of you guys trade options and are using the options chain? That I want to know, because if you're doing that, what the heck are you doing? You guys can't be doing that. There's no way that you're actually. I mean, keep in mind, I'm not big on the alert following. You should learn how to trade yourself and then trade alongside me, like most of my profitable traders do, or all of them actually. Um, but if you're gonna give alert following a shot, you should be using active trader. You should not be using the options chain. You have no chance of getting in pretty much anything unless you just put a limit order and hope it comes back down. What's the alternative? It's the active trader. So what I'm gonna do actually, I haven't posted this in a while, I guess, in my channel. I forget, I forget. Um, Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send you guys a link in chat. It's on my YouTube. There's a tutorial to my thinkorswim setup. Okay. And then the second link is a full tutorial to my options channel. That is extremely bullish. Looks like ES has flipped stronger. But that first link that I just sent in the YouTube chat is um, the whole thing to my thinkorswim setup. And if you want to copy my thinkorswim workspace, you can have it here. I don't know if that's the most current version. But anyways, before market open, you guys know I entered the same thing. It's either SPX or QQQ, and I always enter SPX between $2.50 and 3, and I always enter QQQ between like 50 cents and 80 cents. So if I say I'm going to enter calls, all of you guys should know exactly what I'm going to enter before I already enter it. You should already have those contracts on your active trader pulled up. And yeah, I have no pivots on ES, so wherever it goes, it goes. I just have these pivots on NQ, and these pivots on NQ are not nearly as big as the ones we already traded to. Start with load. Okay. Here are the pivots. They're not very big. They're okay. They're easily identifiable on the 15-minute. Not super easy though, because they're in the context of the downtrend. But if we bullishly consolidate up here, I'll take one more trade. But anyways, look at those guys, because yeah, you have no chance. I mean, if you're waiting for one of my alerts and you wait for an alert and then you go to the options trade or chain, you type in the ticker, you type in the strike, you type in the expiration, the limit price, and then you figure out how much you want to buy, and then you finally click buy. It's like, dude, I am elderly and infertile by the time you entered that position. I like how NQ's flipping strong here. I really want bullish consolidation if I'm going to take another trade. I'm very happy with my profits already, so I'm being kind of picky. You could take a gamble on it and hope it gets up here, but I mean, we are in supply and we have ran up a decent bit. So I'm going to be a bit picky and only get in if I really need to. And even when I get in, it's going to be a much lighter trade than I already took. Can you post a link here? Yeah, I could post those links in the Discord as well. Give me a second. There you go. Okay. Oh, by the way, all of you new people here, if you guys decide you want premium, please request a success manager. Read this channel. It's a success manager's channel. Read that channel I just sent in the Discord chat. Their job, literally at no charge, their job is to mentor you and make sure you're successful. Because again, I don't want people joining if they're going to hurt my ratio of profitable to non-profitable traders. That's the biggest thing I care about in this community. Um, and having a success manager will drastically increase your odds of success. So make sure to do that. It is a 100% free. Mary says, I can't hear anything yet. Tell her to leave and rejoin. I mean, we're starting to chop up a little bit, but it looks like NQ wants to grind up to those pivots. The calls have not been going up at all. The ones that I've been watching, the 719s, because those are the next ones in my price range. That's why I watch 719. Yeah. I always enter the same thing, guys. Like, and that's the thing with my active trades. Like, okay, my last calls, my SPX calls, for example, those are at 570 right now, 5.9. So what I'll do is I'll just go in my active trader, which is already open on one of my screens, and then just try out the 80 calls. There, the 7680 calls are 2.75. I'll keep those calls up. Not that I'm about to enter SPX calls, but those calls will be up. So if I want to, they're already there and I'm one click away. So I'm just kind of moving, um, once the calls get too expensive, move the strike out of the money a little bit more. They get not expensive enough, they get too cheap. I go more towards in the money, and yeah, that's the best way to do things. Man, am I gonna get a good entry for these calls? If we don't bullishly consolidate, I'm not able to get in. I don't want to keep testing my luck, but it looks like it's just gonna get there. Yeah, geez, it's just gonna get there without me. All right, whatever. Geez, that's bullish. Sure, some of you guys are still trading to those pivots, or you took a small position earlier on. Consolidation here would be a nice little trade. Futures hit record high as oil tumbles after Basant says Hormuz may reopen tomorrow. That'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, it does look like Teddy the Joker. It does look just like that. I mean, I wanted to enter another trade on options because this session would be pretty not entertaining if it were literally done in 5 minutes today. Um, but if I made money, I did my job. My first time trading here. Oh, welcome, Trouble Man. You missed yesterday. Yesterday was fantastic, but I guess today is a continuation of yesterday because uh, I guess we're literally just copy and pasting yesterday's price action. There's no way it runs for 4 hours straight like it did yesterday, but with Basent saying the Strait of Hormuz reopens tomorrow, price action is going to keep going up. That's been the only reason price action has been down lately, or by far the biggest one. However, if Trump even utters something that smells like that may not happen, we are going to crash all the way back down to low of day. So that's something to be wary of. Sandra Price is new to this community. I trade options, but I'm looking to transition to futures. Do it. Do it. I tell everyone, pretty much everyone in my community trades futures now. I still trade options the first hour, but I trade futures the next 2 hours. I would trade them at the same time if I could, but I can't. Uh, Futures is a lot wiser. Funded futures trading is much wiser. You have a much higher chance of success in the long run if you trade funded futures. If you're in the community, go to the top of all the channels above them, and you'll see something called the server guide. Click the server guide, and then read the channel called "Get Started with Futures." That that'll give you all the information you need. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. Also, congratulations to Wist on being Trader of the Week. You guys can read his message that he sent yesterday. I'll put an announcement out it. I'll put an announcement about it later. I forgot to do it yesterday. Okay, NQ's bullishly consolidating at least a little bit. I mean, it's not a horrible trade. ES is a little stronger, so SPX calls really don't look bad at all here on this little pullback. If we put in this little bullpen, I don't mind a tiny SPX trade position, but any calls that I take now, much smaller size. Yeah, I took it very light size. Very light size. The contracts are expensive. I'm literally entering a high of day. I like this little bullpen here on NQ. So the TA is on NQ, but the trade is on ES because ES is a lot stronger. But I'm just a couple of contracts for me. Yeah, just a little scalp to see if I can not miss the entire way to the pivot. It looks like NQ is getting baby bullish consolidation, but ES is a lot stronger. So let's see if NQ makes a little move to the pivots. Yeah, well, let's see if this candle looks like it flipped a bit weaker on ES. That's a big red candle. We're starting to experience a lot more resistance up here as we close in on this first pivot. If you took a trade with me, I mean, it was up 25% right there on that green candle. But obviously, I'm not taking it. It's either PT or nothing for me. It says thanks, Bryce. Is really the best trading community out there. You make my tail wag, buddy. Nothing for me. Yeah. It looks like it rejected beforehand. Now keep in mind, I'm able to add to this little trade, but even if I add, it'll still be less than my half size position. I'd more so like to average up than average down. So if NQ comes back up, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll cut this for a tiny loss. Let's see. Now keep in mind, NQ did reject not too far from these pivots. So that does really establish my bias. I am bullish for these pivots to break sometime today. If we don't break them before futures, that'll be pretty decent for my futures because I think that's a pretty likely trade to happen. to just send that out. I could have been a great average down there. I'm not doing it. I'm keeping this trade literally tiny size unless I stop out. This is obviously a soft stop loss. But if NQ comes back up to here, then I will add to the trade. But this is what I'm watching for. This, if we come back up here, this will be a much larger trade. Still, if I stop out and it does come back up, I'm still gonna have to enter half size because the risk toward's pretty bad. And half size is more than double what this trade is. This is literally just 2 contracts. Um, I need to save a room in case we get 2 oscillations, but I am pretty bullish on NQ breaking high of day. I don't think that's going to be high of day today, or it's unlikely unless Trump says something about the Strait of Hormuz not reopening tomorrow. I think it's very likely to for NQ to get a new high of day. Oh, the calls are actually at break even. They're doing the opposite of chopping, which is pretty weird. So if you want to bail out, I guess you can. Interesting. Yeah, look how much stronger ES is than NQ. That's why I chose ES. It's so much stronger. And that second big red candle on NQ didn't even happen on ES, but I really don't want to add to this trade. It's ES doesn't have any PTs. TA is only on NQ, and I don't want to add to this trade unless NQ looks much more likely to get to this pivot. So I'll keep it tiny. If NQ bullishly invalidates most of this drop, I'll add a contract or two. But if it were to put in 2 oscillations for like a proper flag or pennant, then I will be pretty much full size and put my cards on the table. Are we cutting 76.85 calls? You can do whatever you want, Adit. You can cut them if you want. John says, what is this? They expect my stops. An announcement is expected regarding the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a high-ranking source told Arabia. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what catalyzed the whole price action today. But that's older, though, right? That's from a bit ago. We do have news on this candle, so be prepared. I didn't change anything because I'm so light in this trade. Expect some IV, a little bit of IV crushing if this news is major enough right here, because the contract didn't chop at all before that. Jolt's job openings, factory orders, Jolt's job quits, and economic optimism index. Jolt's is the only really thing that matters there. It's oddly low amount of volume on that candle, though, for it to be news. It may not have released yet. It may release in the next minute or two. It did release Hiker? Huh. All right. Yeah, the candle did flip nice there. You guys can take profits if you NQ. I don't. NQ's nowhere near my VT, so if you guys want to take profits, you can. Yeah, NQ is nowhere near PT. I did trim one of my many contracts here at $4. Uh, I guess I feel a little lower, 3.9. All right, 30% gains. That's not bad. Let's see if we get to the PT on NQ. I don't really want to add to this anymore. ES is pretty high. ES is kind of due to flip weak, in my opinion. But look at this. This is why you strength and weakness analysis. And if you don't have this strength and weakness analysis indicator that I just custom made, I spent the entire month of June and July building this indicator, and the documentation behind it is better than any indicator that exists. That I promise. But look at this. I mean, 11 out of the last 15 ES candles were strong. If you guys want the indicator for free, um, ping me in chat, and I'll direct you to the announcements channel where I sent that. And all the documentation. Please read the documentation. The documentation is freaking beautiful. It includes a full-blown, completely free strength and weakness analysis masterclass in written form with visuals and all the beautiful things. But yeah, the indicators, it's like $1 for 60 days. So you guys are good there. Did send that. All right, NQ, pretty high chance to pull back before it gets to the pivot. Obviously, it's super close to the pivot, so that may not happen. This SPX trade is up 70% now. Yeah, it's literally up like 70%. So congrats if you guys made some extra money. This free week has actually been genuinely insane. You guys have been extremely spoiled. But keep in mind, I live trade literally every single day of every single month in premium. So if you enjoy your time here, it'd probably be a good investment. I can't link. You guys aren't in Discord. Uh, Shoot. If I wait a minute, what's that link that I just sent you? What's that thing lead to? Did I not? I didn't send you guys the right link in the Discord channel. The heck? All right, hang on. All right, hang on. Okay, we got there. I gotta pause for a second and take profits. NQ is one more little pivot right here. I told you guys that was my cemented bias for the rest of the morning, and it did hit absolutely in glorious fashion. Type in chat if you guys at least made, especially those of you that missed out, if you at least made a little bit of money on that one there. Okay, does this link work? Let's see. Okay, that second link works. All you guys in... Okay, all you guys in Discord, that's the link right there. So click that link and it'll be a bunch of paragraphs. Read those paragraphs. You don't need to go through the documents right now. Underneath, it'll give you the coupon code. Literally just $1. Literally $1. Please, if you do not read any of the documents, read document number 2. It is literally a full-blown masterclass that I've charged money for in the past. And it is, I'd say, even better than those masterclasses in some aspects. And then the first document is like the technical things about the indicator and how to customize it and change it and use it for your own research and stuff. The third document is how it came to be, all of my data behind the indicator, why I created it, all those things. So I would take some time. They're about 10 minutes reads each and read through them. They're very, very, very high quality documents. Welch says I increased my portfolio by 30%. Super green. Congratulations. What about all of you guys, all you people in Discord and YouTube? Type in chat if you guys are green or red on the day. Let's see what the ratios are. Too bad I was light sides. Too bad I'm responsible. I should just went all in on calls in the beginning and just held it blindly. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. NQ's just about at my second pivot. Should get there. I had to go light size. It was terrible risk to award. I'm entering calls at high of day in supply. The pivots aren't huge by any means. I have to be responsible. But yeah, you guys. It looks like you guys did awesome. How much is premium? Well, it depends. Because it starts at 65, but as you guys complete our education, it drops to 45. Your price actually goes down the better of a trader you become, which is, can you believe that? Being responsible is hard. It's extremely hard. Yeah, I freaking hate being responsible a lot of the time. I really do. There's a second NQ pivot. There you go. And I'm all done trading now. Options. I have no more trades. I'm sure there are more pivots above, but I'm okay. I didn't even really want to enter that one. Test my luck. I'm good. Didn't really make any more money on that second pivot. Still got 100%, but let me type out this announcement real quick. Let me finish typing out this announcement real quick. Man, we kick ass and take names, folks. That is what we do. Keep in mind, though, all of you free people, this insanity does not happen every single day. Now, pretty much every single week, I'm green overall on options. Futures, and futures has been rough this summer. Still payouts every month, though, at the minimum. But it's not this good every day. But we have been absolutely blessed the last couple of days. So don't expect to come in here and keep having these opportunities to get massively rich every morning. You will, the first time that this doesn't happen, you'll blow your account. So make sure you're uh, being mature with how you're trading and realistic. Because this is not realistic. This is highly unusual price action, but I was very blessed. If we didn't have this pivot, like you guys know in the pre-market analysis, we had the pivot right here on NQ that it barely missed. It pretty much put in a perfect double top. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have really had an entry for calls this morning unless I chased it into supply. Just because I have that, it was enough to trigger me in. I'm super, super lucky to have that. Because otherwise I wouldn't really have a solid trigger. That's not just me blindly chasing out a FOMO. So that really made my day. And it was also lucky that it just kept exploding the way it did, because that makes it really easy to hold past my PT when I don't even get a selling wick. I don't even know what a pivot means. A pivot is any point historically on your chart where a major price action reversal has occurred. Take my lesson on pivots. Obviously, it's free, but my pivot lesson is you're gonna want that. All right, who in here is a free member and wants the most valuable free education that exists? Oh, you have been, Dev? My bad. I have not been paying attention. The Mark Doug who here is a free member and not watched the 7-part Mark Douglas series that you cannot find anywhere. It literally doesn't exist. It is by far the most valuable piece of trading education genuinely in existence. There is no more valuable piece of education. Ask any premium member in this server. They will all tell you their trading lives have completely changed because of this one thing. And my education's pretty good, but this 7-part series from Mark Douglas is the best in existence, and you cannot find it online anymore. We are literally the only server that has it. Okay, it's completely free. You don't have to, I'm not advertising my Discord. You guys don't have to join, okay? But you guys do have to jump through a hoop to get it for free. Now, of course, if you're in premium, it's in the Discord, so that's fine. But it's not my education, so I can't charge for it morally. The reason I have to have it in premium or behind the website is because I already got hit for copyright once. I did talk to Mark Douglas's wife though, and this next year after my wedding, because it's freaking expensive. Next year I'll be paying 25 grand to do the Mark Douglas College Institute of Trading Psychology. Once I'm certified through there, I will have free use of everything Mark Douglas has ever produced, and Paula T. Webb herself will come into our server and teach, which would be pretty big. But the problem is, if I were able to just pay and get that, that'd be cool. The problem is, and the reason I've delayed it, because she sent me that email a year and a half ago, is I have to do like a massive book report, and I freaking hate book reports. Anyways, so all of you guys, here's what you need to do. You need to go to this website, just listen to my instructions clearly before you do it. Okay, give me one second, let me type the link. Go to the website and log in the top right corner. When you log in, you're just going to log in with your Discord. It is the official Discord authentication. Go to the website in the top right corner, log in with your Discord, okay? Then you'll be transported to the user dashboard where all of our stuff is, North Star Edge, our free journaling platform. I'm not going to get into that. Once you log into the user dashboard, go to available recordings. Those are all my previous masterclasses. They're paid. If you want them, you can have them. However, you'll see the Mark Douglas 7-part series. It's completely free. Add it to your library. Once you add that Mark Douglas series to your library, go to your library tab and watch that Mark Douglas series. Not only will you have all 7 parts of the series, but you'll have my super comprehensive Mark Douglas notes as a PDF. You guys can save and keep for yourself as psychology reinforcement. It is the single most valuable resource that exists. And the reason I have to have it at least behind my site is because technically I'm not allowed to have it. Very technically speaking, it's not a very big deal. But technically speaking, I'm not allowed to have it. So log into the site, go to the user dashboard, click available recordings, click the Mark Douglas series, save it to your library, and then in your library, watch it. It should work fine. Let me know if it doesn't work and I can fix it. But from now on, you guys will have that resource saved in your library forever. Okay. No strings attached, no nothing. It's technically not mine. Of course, Mark Douglas did pass away, unfortunately, some years ago. But it's not mine, so I would never charge for it. It's just I have to protect it. But please, all of you people who have not seen it and are about to watch it for the first time, please, I love hearing from you guys. Shoot me a DM, send me a friend request. Bryce Trades is my Discord. Or if you see me on YouTube tomorrow, I'm going to be streaming free this entire week unless something crazy happens. Please let me know what your thoughts are. I love hearing everyone's feedback. So that's all I ask for in return is to do that. So those calls are at 8.4 if you just decided to hold. Unfortunately, we can't all be like Alex and just hold. So that's insane. Geez, it's literally off my chart. Oh my freaking gosh, guys. Is there going to be any money left for me to make on futures? I don't see available report. When you log into the website and you'll see, no, I got in at 3. I got in at 3 initially. They're at 9.1 now. Anyways, yeah, if you here, I'll do it myself. Log in my Discord. I can't send screenshots in chat. Unfortunately, I can't send screenshots in YouTube chat. Has everyone been able to access the available recordings and save the Mark Douglas series to their library? Has everyone been able to do that? Okay, and you guys were able to go in the library and start to go in the library and just play the video real quick, make sure it works. Because some people said it didn't work. I fixed it, but sometimes like once every couple months, like the API will expire and I'll just have to redo it. So make sure it fully works. Um, if for some reason it doesn't work, it'll for sure work tomorrow. But all right, I have 10 minutes so I can start trading futures. I don't know if I'm gonna make money today on futures, guys. It's just going. I don't know if it's just going to keep going up for 4 hours like it did yesterday. I think it's very unlikely. The gambler's phallus in me does not want to believe that. I am against. Oh, we don't have liquidity sweep today. So yeah, I really won't have any trades on futures today. Unless NQ would have to bullishly consolidate, or ES bullishly consolidate and be stronger, and NQ cannot be on these pivots. I don't see available recordings. Peter, you got to log in the top right corner of the website. When you go to the website, you have the landing page, right? In the top right corner on mobile, click the 3 bars, and then you'll be able to log in with your Discord. It's inside the website. So you got to log in, and then you'll go to the user dashboard. Can someone help him out in Dev? Can you help him out in the? I don't want to keep repeating the instructions, but so someone says, "Can you repeat the instructions?" I got to the Discord. All right, someone can help him out. On futures, you only do longs? No. No, Lucas, I don't. I mean, I did yesterday because the market only went up, but yeah. But old dude, it's been a long time. Where have you been? How's trading been? Control says, what do you say the difference between NQ and ES is because geopolitically the shift of Hormuz is supposedly opening soon. However, the earnings are coming out after hours today, and AI and tech may not be as bullish because of earnings uncertainty. Yeah, Controls, that's very possible. That could be very, very possible. I don't think that's too bad of a guess, but there's no way to know, right? There's no way to know any of that. I don't even really try figuring out why one is stronger than the other. But all right, if you guys made money already and you're happy, you don't have to stick around and trade futures with me. Okay, futures, I was blessed and both trades were green yesterday. Um, can't guarantee that's going to happen today. I have to trade futures because I haven't done it yet. I have to trade my accounts every day. But if you traded the first hour and you did well, do not be obligated, please, to trade futures with me unless your strategy allows it and your psych is good. If you are not willing to accept loss, which isn't loss, it's business expenses. If you're not willing to pay some business expenses and accept some losses with perfect psychology, not saying we will lose, but if you're coming into or you're going to continue trading only expecting to win and you're not willing to accept loss beforehand, don't trade. Lock in your gains and leave our beautiful free live trading session and show back up tomorrow morning for hopefully another great day. But for me, I have 8 minutes until I have to trade futures, and then we will see how the next 2 hours goes. I would not be surprised if we chop sideways for a while because we only went up this morning. So we'll see. But congrats, guys, on the gains. That was awesome. Another incredible morning. Could not be happier. Yes, or Psycher Aider. Go to available recordings and then save the Mark Douglas series to your library for free. Bryce, do you still have your McLaren? Yes, I do. I mean, I sold the green McLaren a few months ago, but I still have the big one. Can you not pin messages? It's fine. I don't really drive it in the summers though, because summer it's too hot, and McLarens when it's too hot outside, they start having temper tantrums like really really bad. Like nothing you guys have ever seen on a vehicle before. You think a vehicle would not have emotions? It genuinely has emotions. It's genuinely wild. So I don't drive in the summer. It's too hot. It screws up the car. Capital, how's your trading been, dude? NQ could be putting in bullish consolidation here. It looks like it flipped a little stronger than ES. These lower lows with buying wicks are fairly bullish. If it gets two more oscillations, that would be bullish consolidation. And you know what? If we were to do that, well, yeah, my future strategy, as you guys know, it's very mechanical. I did not want to enter both of the trades yesterday. Both trades, I did not want to enter them, but both of them worked out. So a lot of times with futures, I do things that I don't want to do um, because my strategy is much more mechanical than the way I trade options for my psychology's sake. But I must do my job anyways. I need two more good keywords and bad keywords. And right now, I have, or I would potentially have strong, but right now for sure I may have trend, bullish consolidation, trend, bullish consolidation, strong. Yeah, I can't enter because I have supply, but then continuation on a pivot here. And these pivots aren't very small. Oops, screw things up. Let's see how big these pivots are in the 1 minute. Yeah, see, these pivots aren't very small. It's enough to do continuation on a pivot. But anyway, so with it on this pivot, I cannot enter bullish consolidation. If I had a liquidity sweep down here, I would be able to. But we have trend, maybe bullish consolidation, and then maybe strong. It looks like NQ flipped stronger than ES recently. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't really be able to enter. I need NQ like to be up here and then ES to consolidate. All right. All of you people in Discord, I have some rather informal announcements to make. I'm going to make a much bigger one. Um, I'm going to make a much larger announcement later today / tomorrow. Okay, so the path to success. The cooldown is currently 18 days to pass your next leg. And as you guys know, none of you premium people are supposed to be paying $65 a month, which is really cheap for this community. Very, very cheap. But anyways, if you do the path to success, your subscription drops to $45 and then even to $20 if you get the legendary trader status. So not only do you get new uh, status and role changes, but your subscription literally gets cheaper permanently. Just taking 30 minutes to, or just taking a week to go through leg number 1 and take the quiz real quick on the Mark Douglas series, $5 cheaper for life, right? However, 18 days is a long time, and for some people it's a little unmotivating. So here's what we're going to do. Starting the 15th of August, and I'll put out this in a much more formal announcement. Starting the 15th of August, we are going to be entering the first fast track we've had this year. And this fast track is going to drop the cooldown from 18 days to like 8 days. It's going to drop it down from 18 days to 1 week, slightly more than a week. I think I'm going to do 8 days. Okay. And the fast track is going to be an entire month. Look how much stronger NQ is now. So that fast track is going to go for a month, which means you guys will be able to run through 4 of the 8 legs and not only lock in those permanent discounts, but make a lot of progress. Some of you guys are halfway and want to get to Elite Trader. You guys will be able to do a huge boost. And for you non-premium people that are thinking about it, that is the time to join, because normally it takes 5 months, right, at 18 days a leg to get to the highest tier, which is Elite Trader. Um, and then if you proceed to be profitable, then you get Master Trader, then Legendary, and it keeps dropping, right, all the way down to $20. But for the standard path to success, the highest is Elite Trader. It's the purple and blue roll color, and it's $45 a month. Takes 18 days. There are 8 legs in each path to success, and after you pass each leg, or after you finish the lessons in each leg, you have to take a quiz based on the lesson, right? Um, if you pass the quiz, you move on to the next leg. Now, which means over the month, which is roughly 30 days, you guys, if you pass the quizzes, could knock out 4 of the legs. We're going to start doing these fast tracks once every few months from now on to kind of rekindle everyone's motivation to get through it and whatnot, because it's starting to get frustrating because we have so many profitable traders that people don't know about. The only reason they don't have the master trader role is because they haven't completed the path of success. You need to be an elite trader for me to give you the master trader role, which is the pretty rainbow color. And I want you guys to have the master trader role because it makes the community look more valuable, because no one knows you're profitable unless you have that role, right? Or they know you personally. So yeah, we're gonna start doing it every few months because I want pretty much everyone in here to be elite traders, fully locked in, and know everything they need to know to do this full time. And so yeah, we'll be starting that fast track on the 15th of August, and it'll go to September 15th. So lock in. We don't do discounts here. I'm not Apex. We're already super undervalued, but we do those fast tracks. And from now on, we'll be doing them once every few months. Suck at tests. I failed another test. That's another thing, Lisa. If you failed 2 tests in a row, if any of you guys fail 2 quizzes in a row, please just DM me and I will take the test with you to make sure you pass. I don't want any of you guys stuck in the same place for an extended period of time. If you fail a test twice in a row, DM me, and then I'll take it the next time with you. Because when you to take a new quiz, the first time, once you get promoted to a leg, it takes 18 days to take that quiz. And then if you fail that quiz, you have to wait another 7 days. If you guys fail a quiz more than twice in a row, please just DM me. I'll hop on a one-on-one call with you and we'll pass the freaking quiz, because I don't want any of you guys stuck. So don't let that happen during the fast track, please. That's very important. I'll have to wait till Sunday to take it next time. Okay, well, we can do it right before our mentorship meeting, Lisa. Yeah, most of you guys forget that I'm willing to do that, but I say it quite a bit. Okay, NQ is a lot. I'm gonna have to enter a trade, aren't I? Oh boy. I don't want to keep entering longs though. It's like gone up too much. It's kind of due to come back down, but you know what? I have to be disciplined. That's what I said yesterday, and yesterday I won. And if I didn't take those trades yesterday, my psych would be fried. Let's see what's at the top of this supply. A lot of times at the top of supply will be a pivot. And there is a pivot here. Okay. All right, we do have a decent sized pivot at the top of the supply here on NQ. So if I were to take a long trade, I have to enter, and my P2 would have to be that pivot, which sucks because that's really heavy supply in the way. Don't think it's super likely to get there. NQ is also kind of bearishly chopping up at the moment. I would say this is bullish consolidation on ES. This is a falling wedge. Not good enough for me, though. I want 2 defined oscillations. It is a falling wedge, though. There is an excuse there. There really is an excuse. But I'm going to be very picky. I need to write my journal, though, about that because because technically, yeah, it's a falling wedge. Technically, I can call it bullish consolidation, but typically I want two defined oscillations, right? So if ES puts in two defined oscillations, so we do something like this, and then NQ remains strong, I'm triggered into longs, and the long trade will be probably here to here. So there you go. And I guess I'll rock like a 1.15 restored, I guess. No, shout out to those people. Shout out to those people who bought the lifetime membership, which isn't publicly available. You have to request it privately. Shout out to the people that are lifetime and still do the path of success. Tim, you are one of few. Like you are a very few people who do that, and good for you because most of the lifetime people they show up and then they stop like trying as hard on the path of success and trying as hard in education. They plateau in their trading, which we don't want. Looks like ES just recently flipped stronger than NQ. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. I do need ES to put in another oscillation, though. I did have an excuse to enter with this falling wedge, but it's two defined oscillations. I don't know, man. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab my journal and write that down. Berig Heb. How do we do that with the path to success? It's a Discord thing. Ryan says, I think I hold the record for the fastest path to success completion. Yeah, that's quite possible. Man, ES is a lot stronger than NQ now. Let's see. I need ES to bullishly consolidate. Also, if NQ bullishly consolidates, I can trigger me in as well. I don't really want to get in, but you know what? It it doesn't really have a terrible chance, I don't think. That is kind of a bullpen on NQ. I was hoping for a bigger second oscillation and an oscillation on ES. You could swing it if you want, but I'd rather be picky than not picky because now the strength is starting to fade away. ES is stronger recently. NQ's weaker recently. NQ still technically has strong out of the last 15 candles, but the last 5 have been pretty much all weak. So this is a lot stronger now. Wow. I can't enter because I don't have the strong here, but hopefully NQ can make ES pull back to roughly here. If it can pull back a little bit more than come up, I'd be okay with entering that. Because technically NQ has a strong on both, but I'd give it to ES. Yeah, that's a bigger drop on NQ. So if NQ comes back up, it is bullish consolidation. The problem is it's pretty small bullish consolidation. So I was really hoping ES can pull back to like here, and this would be much larger bullish consolidation instead of this tiny pennant. Um, so that's kind of what I'm hoping personally. I'll be right back though. Give me like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Well, there goes my bullish consolidation. Goodbye, bullish consolidation. There goes my trade. Can't be bullish consolidation now that I made a higher high. So if I miss out on that, that's actually pretty sad. Looks like news just came out. It's probably going to end up being bullish, but I don't know. Just all the news lately has been bullish, so that's kind of why. And this is gray area, right? Being able to enter here. Yeah, it's a falling wedge, but it is gray area. Um, if this is going to become bullish consolidation so I can enter, I'm going to need a brand new 2 oscillations now because we just made a higher high. Unless it looks like fantastic and I can turn a blind eye to it. Let's see, that was a huge volume spike in supply on NQ and it's weak. NQ looks like it wants to break this trend line to the downside. I have no idea how far it's going to break it to the downside, but it looks like it wants to break it at some point. ES looks like it does not want to drop at all. So that's fairly concerning. But what I do know is yeah, I wouldn't have really got a PT here on ES. It would have been somewhere up here if I did enter. Something like that. But ES is so freaking strong, man. I would love to be in ES longs. That wick just kind of screwed me. If that wick didn't happen, I'd be able to enter longs. That's that new API news hitting. I know, right? See if NQ breaks the trend line to the downside. It is a very nice trend line. Yes, looks like it just wants to go up and up and up, though. Yes, looks like it wants to keep short squeezing. It is insane how strong it is. Also, uh, the final round of the winners bracket, or just battle round number 5, has been scheduled. All battles have been scheduled. So if your teams did not propose a time or accept the proposal, it was manually done on my end. So I'll put out an announcement in a bit after my live trading, showing off the poster of battle round number 5. This round is big because this will determine the winners of the winners bracket, right? So this is the final battle of the winners bracket, and then the losers bracket will keep competing for a couple of weeks, and will eventually work for towards the ability to come back and fight the finalists of the winners bracket for the grand final of the tournament. And we do have $2,000 in cash prizes for this one. And then the next one will probably be up to 3 or 4,000, depending on how many participants we have. The more participants we have, the more money I'll pay. We may even up it to 5,000. We'll see. All right, NQ is pretty much a bull flag, but I can't enter. That wick ruined it, which really sucks. It really sucks because I would be able to enter up here. Yeah, he is a squeezing. Looks really bullish. I wish I was in. There's a possibility that I could have entered here. It was very gray area. I wrote it down. Obviously, it would have been better if I did because I'd be pretty much a PT right now. Honestly, my P2 would just be NQ new high of day. Um, but that would be a green trade. But it's way too gray area. It is a falling wedge, but to define bullish consolidation, I need two defined oscillations, and those weren't very defined. This one got a bit higher, I would. And this would look like a bull flag on NQ, but unfortunately made the higher high here, so I cannot enter still. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to need NQ to dump one more time through this trend line and then come back up. Then I can argue bullish consolidation. But unfortunately, I'd have to enter ES longs all the way up here, which I really don't want to do because this run is definitely a bit overdone already. And NQ is only going to enter heavier supply. So it looks like we're not going to have a trade for a bit. It's a really nice falling wedge play, though. That played out really nicely. I'm going to hang out on my phone until I get closer to being able to be triggered into something uh, via my future strategy. So just type in chat if you guys have any questions or anything you want to discuss. Otherwise, I'm just going to hang out on my phone for a bit. C Virus says, sorry to make you repeat again, was locked into the market, but how could I access those Mark Douglas audio filers? I'm already in the WAP group. So you're in the free Discord. If you were a premium member, you can access them much easier. Um, but since you're not a premium member, if that changes, let me know and I'll get you a success manager for completely free. I'd highly recommend it. But go to the Aurora Trading website. I'll just type out the instructions. All right, I did it. Oh man, well, if I entered the falling wedge, that would have been a nice bright green trade. Unfortunately, though, it was way too gray area for me, and especially in the context of the day, I'm okay. But this trend line is no longer perfect on NQ. If NQ can come down a little bit more, do something like this, that would be ideal, and then I'd still honestly be triggered in. Um, Technically, maybe a continuation on pivot gray area, but it's not bad. It's still, 20 points above, and it's been above the whole time. ES is stronger than NQ, so honestly, guys, it's looking like I'm literally going to have to take an ES long all the way a high day. I would not expect this trade to work out. I would expect this trade to be red. And honestly, I'd just take the trade to this NQ supply. I wouldn't even go to this pivot. Not very hopeful that this trade would work out, but it is a trade that I'm for sure triggered into. So I'm a premium member and need guidance on the success manager. Can you send that in free trading floor? Send that in free trading floor because I don't know your Discord here on YouTube, and one will be assigned to you immediately. So just go into the free trading floor and send that. Well, if NQ comes up, I'll be triggered into ES longs, and yeah, I'm not confident in this trade at all, but the Lord's will be done. Am I right? Truthfully, that's exactly right, Ryan. Trading rots my brain, and the more intense and long I trade, the more I slur my words like a drunk man. Yeah, if NQ comes up, I'm triggered in. Let's see if it does. If it just comes up to here, I'm fully triggered in. I have bullish consolidation, strong and trend going against only supply. I am fully triggered in. Gosh, I do not a fan of this trade. And would not blame all of you guys for sitting this one out. That's for sure. Gotta be faithful to the strategy though. How much time should I give myself before I quit? I've been doing options for 4 months and I'm negative so far. Those are rookie numbers, Mary. 4 months. Hang on, I gotta lock in real quick because I'm almost at entry. Could argue an entry on that candle. One more small one for sure gets me in though, which means I'm gonna have even worse average, but whatever. Okay, Mary, I'd recommend you signing up with our community and getting a success manager. I'd recommend non-financial advice, of course. If I were you, I'd stop trading options and trade funded futures. You're gonna lose too much money on options. You can't afford to lose all of your money every single time you have a bad psychology day, right? You need to be trading funded futures. Non-financial advice, do whatever you want, of course, but I would trade funded futures, and you need a success manager. So if you sign up, I'll get a success manager to you, and they can point you in the right direction and get you on that track to success. Because just showing up and trading options, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter who you follow, what analyst you follow, what alerts you follow in some Discord. It's that stuff's never going to make you profitable. And you probably figured that out really quickly. Only building this actual real skill set for yourself, that's what's going to work. And a lot of these analysts themselves aren't even authentic in any way. So Appreciate that, Koobsy. Yeah, shout out to them. I've been kind of lacking on the support and DM sector because I've been so locked in on all the things I tell you guys about. Something I'm trying to work on this week is get back in my DMs and whatnot, especially during this free week when they're a little bit more full than usual. All right, this candle closes bullish on NQ. I'm triggered into yes, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Need NQ to just be a little bit higher. NQ didn't get high enough. All right, NQ, ES is still stronger than NQ by a lot. I'm gonna start losing those strong candles though here soon. NQ did not come up enough to trigger me in, unfortunately, which means when NQ does come up, I'm gonna have to have an even worse average, to be honest. Yeah, look at ES not even dropping. This strength is wild. Oh my gosh. And React and Promo Center to enter the giveaway. However, Dev, I'm gonna forget to tell you, don't do the giveaway today. I'm gonna create a different giveaway bot. So just we'll remember it and then we'll come back to this one. So we'll do a giveaway day where we catch up on the previous ones. So the people that react today will still enter. Yeah, I'm gonna have to enter frickin' longs all the way at high of day on ES. That's frickin' atrocious, guys. Oof, I don't want to do that. NQ just didn't quite get high enough, and I'm... Yeah, that sucks a lot. It's a rough day for sure. At least for futures trading. If I entered the falling wedge on ES, that'd be great, but two defined oscillations, that's tough. While NQ's kind of chopping up. Yeah, that's a problem. NQ's not coming up though. So I want to get into ES, but I can't get triggered in yet. Really, I'm going to need NQ to come up to here to trigger me in. And then I'm going to need it to get to this supply for me to be at PT. That's what I'm going to need. And I need a lot, so it's not very fun. Oh, yesterday's pending too? Okay, good. I'll start working on that giveaway bot today. Cvis says, thank you for the advice you gave me so far. My portfolio is up 150% the last 2 days. If I were you, non-financial advice, if I were you, I would withdraw all of those profits. I love the way you explain clearly. We'll be signing up to start learning more. That's awesome, man. Appreciate the encouraging words. And just ping me in chat when you do, and I'll get a success manager assigned to you. Because again, I don't want you guys joining premium if you're not going to end up being successful. So I need to make sure that happens. Tony, my alert channel is only delayed by about 2 seconds, but it seems more because the contracts just move super crazy. But yeah, my channel takes 2 seconds. But that's also why in my channel, I say what I'm going to do before I do it, so you guys know exactly what I'm planning on doing. And especially once you understand that I always enter the same contracts, essentially, the same price. I don't choose a specific strike, just choose a specific price range to enter contracts. They're always 0 days. It becomes a lot easier to trade alongside me rather than behind me. Because that's the point. You shouldn't be trading behind me. You should be trading alongside me. Yeah, I can see your chat. Roll and pace. I just saw it. I would love to enter ES longs, but I'm stuck. I'm going to have to enter all the way up here. Oh my gosh. This is freaking painful, guys. This is so freaking painful. I'm finally going to be able to enter on this trade. I'm just going to have... Oh my gosh. This is my least favorite trade I've taken probably this. Yeah, definitely this week, but probably in the last few weeks, this is literally the least favorite trade I've taken. I really don't want to enter this. I would have much rather entered this falling wedge, but it was too gray area. But I have to enter this one, that's for sure. 100% sure. So if this candle closes like this on NQ, I am in. I just need to get to the last 10-second mark. I wouldn't be surprised if ES flips weak right after I enter. I did fill it. Okie dokie. Zero confidence going into this trade. But the Lord's will may be done. Will not blame you guys for sitting this one out, though. ES flipped super weak on the candle that I entered on. Still stronger overall, though, so I have to choose ES. I'd honestly kind of rather choose NQ. I think it's due to... I think NQ is due to flip a bit stronger. But anyways, as far as stop loss goes, I don't even know where to put it, right? My PT on ES is just the supply on NQ. I don't have a PT on ES. It's up right up here. So, whatever. I'll do 41 ticks on ES. There's no good place to put a stop loss on this trade, to be honest. There really isn't. But perfect psychology, that's all that matters. That is really all that matters. Let me take a moment to journal this. Yeah, ES is a lot weaker than NQ now. What price I enter? NQ's moving up a lot more than ES is. The closest I can put my PT is 1-to-1, unfortunately. And then that means NQ is going to get to my PT before ES does, which hurts the odds of this trade working out quite a bit. If I were to take NQ instead, which I couldn't, I wasn't allowed to, but I wish I could. That would be essentially the trade. ES is actually a much bigger trade than NQ is. And with ES being weaker than NQ, yeah, if NQ pulls back at any of these supplies, it's gonna be rough on ES. Yeah, look how weak. I knew it. I felt it in my bones that ES was due to flip weak. That's so rough. For this trade, we have trend, strong, other bullish consolidation, which is on AQ, going against other supply, 3-to-1. It is a very clean trigger, though. Very clean trigger, no arguments. NQ's almost there, and ES is nowhere close. Good grief. ES long at 726.25. Oh, 2. I thought you said add. I'm like, we have not got there yet. I hope it works out for you, Bears. But ES is very due to flip weak, and this next supply is going to be a huge hurdle for NQ. I do like that we did sweep this trend line, though. This trend line is no longer an issue. Here was the bullish consolidation, in case you don't have eyes that can see it. It was a bull pennant, and I would have loved to just get in earlier, man. So tough. I'm not going to stop complaining this trade, to be honest. NQ is kind of going ballistic. I didn't realize this was a perfect trend line on NQ, or almost. That's a really nice top trend line. The when it comes to like clean patterns, the trend line that has the most touches is by far more likely to break with each touch, especially if the touches it doesn't go over the trend line much. It just perfectly the wick just perfectly kind of kiss it. They've been taking turns all morning. Um, Not real. ES was much stronger a lot of the morning. I mean, they've been taking turns a bit. But ES's strength has been much more, yeah, ES has been much stronger. I'm not going to count all of these candles. Actually, here, let's just use our handy indicator and change it. How long have we been open? An hour and 5 minutes? All right. The long window, let's do, what, an hour and 5 minutes? So 65 minutes for the slow count window. Oh, did I not apply it? Is it not going to do it? Does that not work? Do I need to update it? Oh, now it updated. Okay, ES has been strong 28 of the last 65, and NQ's been strong only the last 20. Yeah, I guess that's actually more even than I thought. I'm like, oh, does that feature not work? That's not good. Because I thought it did. I've never changed it personally, but it just takes a second to update. But anyways, NQ is almost at my PT. ES is nowhere close to my 1-to-1 PT. So what I really need is NQ to not get here, but not reject. I'm going to need NQ to do a little bit more, unfortunately. I was hoping I wouldn't need that. ES looks like it's trying to flip a little bit stronger, but again, we're so overbought and we're in supply. It's really tough for me to be confident. But I am confident in my execution psychology. I'm having flawless psychology today. Pretty much this week. Last week as well, for the most part. All right, I'm going to get up and walk away from my computer for a few minutes. It's nowhere near any of my orders, and I don't expect it to get to PT anytime soon if it does. I'm going to go grab a drink and get some stuff done. Sterling, before I go, says, would you advise against anyone doing options since you switched your future? No, a future. If you're learning to trade, funded futures is infinitely better. Every time you blow up an account, you lose like 20 bucks, right? When you come into trading, ew, yes, flipped weak on this candle. When you come into trading, everyone comes in like, I'm going to come in and try to take my money, learn with it, and grow it. If you come in like that, you're going to lose, and that's the way everyone comes in. Okay? You are spending money to develop a skill. Every loss that you take is not a loss, it's a business expense. You are spending money to learn, okay? So, your goal when you come into trading is how can I spend the least amount of money possible to gain the most reps and knowledge and skill set development as possible. That's what you come into trading as. So if you're making if after your living expenses from your income, whatever it may be, you're profiting $2,000 a month, set a limit of, okay, I can spend no more than $200 a month trading, which means I can't lose more than $200 a month on this whole thing, minus maybe like Aurora Premium. So like minus Trading View and Premium, maybe like 300, right? Like, okay, you have one red day on options, you're out. You blow up your account, you're out for months. Futures, that'll get you a lot of evaluations and even a funded account. Once you pass the evaluations, you're able to spend $100 a month learning how to trade. Even less than that if you're disciplined with small size and you trade your valuations for an extended period of time. You can budget that properly and you can be in the game for a long time. Every time you blow your options portfolio, you can't just get back into it. You have to save up money again and try again a month later, a couple months later. When you try again, you're trying again from a place of revenge. You're just going to try to make your money back. It doesn't work, right? When you're in a hole, the more you want out of the hole, the deeper the hole gets. That's the whole point. With funded futures trading, you are able to actually set up the proper agenda initially and have a much better chance at flipping profitable before you run out of all your money and get kicked out of the market and give up. ES is horrendously weak, just as predicted. NQ is pretty much at my PT, just as predicted. Unfortunately, I had to be in ES, so it's looking terrible at the moment. So yeah, funded futures, it's a no-brainer financially. Financially, it's a no-brainer. There's a reason 95% of traders will never turn a profit in trading, and most of them that do end up losing it after. Um, you have to be very different. You have to come into trading with a completely different purpose and a different mindset, and that's one of the big things we teach here. Uh, Price amount, that's what stuff hits the fan. You missed it yesterday, controls. I left my computer and it did very well. All right, NQ hit the price target. Unfortunately, because ES is so much weaker, I need NQ to keep going into this supply, which is a lot to ask, which I do not like it. I do not like it at all. As you guys know, I'm in ES and not NQ, but yeah, not a fan because I thought NQ is actually fairly likely to reject this supply. So I guess here's to hoping it doesn't do that. Here's to hoping in general. Am I right? Bryce hates me. I would have been a multimillionaire if I took his advice many years ago. Nah, controls, you're my sunshine. You are my sunshine, controls. Every time I see your messages in chat, my day just instantly gets brighter. You're near and dear to my heart. What's not near and dear to my heart is this trade. I'm not going to stop bitching. That's why I want to walk away from my computer. I'm not going to stop bitching about this trade. ES looked so freaking weak. But honestly, it's weak enough that NQ might need to get all the way to this pivot in order for this trade to work out, which is really bad. But all right, I'm going to step away from my computer and grab a drink. I haven't been able to do that yet. You guys are now in charge. You guys are babysitting. Good luck. Whatever happens is your guys' fault. Blech. Anyone else gag when they see how terrible and weak ES is? NQ's literally gonna have to go 400 ticks, which is the equivalent of 40 ticks on ES. Or sorry, 80 ticks on ES. 5 ticks on NQ is 1 tick on ES, right? If they're double sized, but they are. NQ has to get all the way to this freaking pivot in order for my ESPT to hit, which hurts because NQ is so much stronger. NQ is even more likely to get here than just my 1-to-1 PT on ES. So sad. But I would have made almost double the amount of money, like 60 or 70% more. 60 or 70% more, I'm not sure exactly. Which is pretty painful, but there's no other way I can get into the trade period. It just really sucks. Alejandro says, I'm glad I joined today. at least will force myself to watch Mark Douglas series every evening. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Let me know if you haven't watched it yet. Alejandro, please give me your feedback on the series. But regardless, it's the best thing that you can do for your trading right now. And if any of you guys have not watched that series is so crucial that I would even tell you don't place another trade until you finish that series. Like, don't even place another trade. That's how revolutionizing it is to your mind and your trading career. Yeah, this ES looks so freaking bad, dude. Oh my word. It was so due for a strength change, too. It was so incredibly due. Terrible. Don't chase, guys. I'm entering out. I'm not. Okay. That's a decent rage bait controls. That almost got me. I'm not falling for it, buddy. Know how bad this trade looks, though. Oh my gosh, it looks so bad. Imagine someone just comes to our live stream and is like, okay, this guy's just buying just high of day in the middle of nowhere now. I see. Yeah, this trade looks like one of the worst trades a novice trader can potentially place. It really does. It looks freaking terrible. Well, I might as well extend to the NQ pivot now. Honestly, I might as well extend for the NQ pivot. So I was supposed to go to the supply, but now NQ's bullish enough to this pivot to where I might as well extend for it. Um, I'm tempted to. It would bring the PT to roughly like here. I'm not gonna do it though. You guys, it's a really good excuse to. Uh, I don't think my psychology will be able to handle me extending my PT and then it happening to go back down, though. Honestly, I don't think that's a loss I'd be willing to accept. And I'll share with you guys why in a bit. There's a lot of notes in my journal today. My page is halfway filled up, and it's literally been one trade. That doesn't even have an exit documented. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, my days off, so it works out perfect when good movies come out. You know, I was kind of let down by the Spider-Man movie. It wasn't that good. I don't think it was nearly as good as the last one. If that's what you're talking about. Yeah, like I think the movie was fine. It was hard to sit. It was long, and problem is, Ashton always makes me bring my gun with me whenever we go to movie theaters at night. So also sitting through like a 3 hour movie with a gun in my pants is not comfy. So that's also there. And I saw it at 11 o'clock at night, so I was tired on top of it. You know, you really could extend your PT to the NQ pivot. I'm not going to though. My psychology is not good enough to handle the loss. And the reason why is because that trade was the last trade I needed to get a max payout. So on a quite a few of my accounts. But it wouldn't be bad though. Let's see what would have happened if you did extend for the NQPT. Looks like NQ is going to get there. Doesn't look like ES really wants to go with. NQ, I'm pretty bullish for NQ to get there. Let's see if it does. $45.5 is that pivot price target. I think the best material for me was his risk management class. Oh yeah, that one's solid too. The best class I've ever done is the Mastering the Market Open Master class. That's by far the best one, honestly. It's really freaking good. All right, let's see if NQ gets the pivot. It's pretty likely to, but we will see. It's only got a little bit more to go. Looks like it's getting some resistance here. I might want to try to pull back right before. It's only like a couple points away, though. All right, I got it. Cool. You document that. So, um, that's why. I did not want to enter that trade, but I had to. And yes, I would have made almost double if I traded NQ. Now keep in mind my ES trades are bigger than my NQ. You're supposed to size 2 times ES to NQ. So if you enter if you enter 5 micros on NQ, should be 10 on ES or 1 mini or vice versa. But right now I'm 3 and 7. I don't know if I'm gonna get another trade at all today. Document this trade ending real quick. 818. All right. So you guys know how I haven't done master classes in forever, right? They're just a lot of work. They're good money, but they're just a lot of work. They're very valuable, 150 bucks for a class or 125 and, they are really game changing because they're like 3 hour, 2 hour lessons with very professional presentations. Well, been more focused on my own trading than teaching, honestly. And as you guys know, this summer was very rough. This summer was freaking terrible for me for futures trading. It was so bad that I created a ton of things this summer. Um, the strategy development course, the strength and weakness indicator, ironing out the biggest gray area of my strategies. I've spent countless hours on my future strategy this summer. I channeled uh, essentially my pain into motivation to improve. And this summer was even bad psychologically. I blew a ton of accounts from just, being, because at some point we all have a psychological threshold. If I go through like 3 weeks in a row of terrible Iran news where like literally almost every single trade is red on futures, even I reach a threshold where I'm no longer willing to accept loss and I start making stupid mistakes and blowing a bunch of accounts. Now, I still got a wave of payouts in June. It was very small. June was freaking horrible. That covered my expenses. I got a larger wave of payouts in July, in the first week of July. June was terrible. Lost money all of June except the very beginning of June, first week. And that's because May was profitable, right? May was super profitable, multiple waves of payouts, good. June, First week was able to take a payout just from May profits, right? Because I hit the days required and whatnot. And then lost money the rest of June. Literally lost all my accounts 2 times over. But also, one of the reasons I did is because you guys remember the SpaceX IPO and all that stuff and PDT getting lifted. Well, I was sized at 5 MNQ, 1 ES. So every single loss was at least $1,000 because the market was so volatile. My 30 tick PTs on ES were now 80 ticks and 90 ticks and 100 ticks. And I was too stubborn to change my size because I have years of data at that size. I was too stubborn to change my size until I blew all my accounts twice over because I have the daily loss limit on the accounts too, right? So I blew all my accounts twice over. And then, of course, I refilled because Apex was on thing. But then I finally sized down to my current size, which is 3 MNQ 7 MES, which I changed to 6 to 7 MES a little later because NQ is moving more than twice ES has been. And hang on, that exit gets a X because we are continuing straight up. Anyways, we get peace deal with Iran for 2 weeks. Of course, right when I size down, the 2-week peace deal starts with Iran, the 2-week ceasefire, and the market's beautiful. Those 2 weeks, profitable, great, and I get a pretty nice sized wave of payouts on a handful of my accounts, a decent number of my accounts. That first week of July, Iran ceasefire ends, goes right back downhill. And I did end up blowing some accounts in early July as well, just from bad psychology. Because again, 3 months of the stupid war, I'm freaking fed up with it. So my psych deteriorated a bunch. But after that last blow up, I really locked in, covered a lot of gray area, built this strength and weakness indicator. I've been rebuilding a lot of education for my purposes, like my psychology helps my psychology when I do those things. Spent a lot of time studying, and one of my bigger motivations, because I've done this quite a lot, but a lot of people, when they get knocked down by the market, especially when it comes to futures accounts, when you work really hard to get to a certain numbers of PAs, and then a bad string of days or weeks comes along and wrecks everything. After just a couple of times, it gets really hard to want to find the motivation to get back up. Because that's the hardest thing about trading is getting back up. It's just like being a Christian. There are so many parallels between my trading life and my uh walk with Jesus. Honest in that regard is constantly having to get up. And in futures, it's really hard to keep getting back up. Options it's a little different because you have much longer breaks in between blowups, but futures you don't, right? So, anyways, what I did is over the last few weeks, I fully dedicated to doing everything that I'm supposed to do that I taught you guys to do, and even took that annoyance and channeled it into motivation to to not only do everything perfect with perfect psychology, near perfect discipline, but beyond that, actually channel it into productivity, right? The strength and weakness indicator, that's a really big deal. Really big deal for my strategy. Um, more than 50 to 60% of all trades that have strong or weak as a keyword were debatable for me, which means they're all kind of gray area. That was a huge thing. So I evolved my strategy, and as a result, I was rewarded for that psychology. And just in the last 2 weeks and some change, I am ready for a max payout on a bunch of brand new accounts. So at some point, if I were to teach master classes again, it would be on that topic because I don't have that. I did do the futures masterclass a while ago. That class is 2 parts and 7 hours long with a very lengthy set of PDFs with it. That class needs to be redone at some point, but I don't want to do it because it's so much work. But I was thinking to myself, well, if I pull this off and I get back on track for, the payouts, because now with this just one wave of payouts, I covered all my expenses plus profit. Right now, if I continue doing well in August, well, then the rest will just be pure profit, right? Anyways, I was thinking about doing a masterclass on that topic, not just an overall futures masterclass, not a full breakdown masterclass on my exact future strategy and the evolutions of it, but also everything that's you need to do to get back up properly from getting knocked back down or from getting knocked down initially, how to get back up and achieve success for real and stuff down those demons and temptations of just trying to, you know, you blew up an account really close to your first payout or really close to your next payout. Well, the next time you're on a PA, what do you think? You want to get back to where you were, right? Kind of the art of suppressing those temptations and focusing on data and building your data is a skill that I've gotten pretty good at. And one thing that I've actually documented meticulously during this in case I wanted to teach that class. So, with that being said, at some point, now that I completed that today, because with that last trade, you guys watched me this week. I took 3 futures trades this week. Not one of them I wanted to enter. This one I really didn't want to enter. You guys heard me bitching about this trade the whole time, but it followed my strategy perfectly, and I have to be willing to execute flawlessly and make myself available to either win and collect my profits or pay my business expenses. Either way, I'm fine. If I don't make myself available to pay my business expenses, aka if I try to avoid loss, your business is going to get shut down. You're going to blow your accounts, right? So out of doing that this week, you guys have actually probably not noticed, but it's been a masterclass in psychology because none of these futures trades I wanted to enter. I hate chasing and buying near high of day and just doing these things. But it's because of that flawless execution of my strategy. Not only am I getting a max payout on a bunch of accounts or a handful of accounts, um, but I reinforced that psychology. Now I'm rewarded for it from this payout. So because that is what I did to get this next payout. Now, next time I'm tempted to not follow my strategy or not enter a trade that I want or I don't want, I'm not going to be nearly as tempted because I already beat that temptation on multiple occasions and I was rewarded for that, right? Trading really starts evolving when you start focusing on what's being reinforced rather than what the trade outcomes are. And it comes down to data and strategy, which I would also teach. So, anyways, that's my rant. I was thinking about doing that class. Um, I was thinking about doing that class sometime this month. I'll have to see though, because it's just going to be an incredible amount of work for a full-blown futures masterclass and to include all that psychology education. And honestly, for the people that are not in this server, I would have to make sure they also receive this whole entire strategy development course as well. Um, and honestly, the class would be so big that it would likely have to span 2 weekends in a row, 4 different parts. So like 6 hours on one Saturday. So 3 hour part one, break for an hour, 3 hour part two. That's one Saturday. And then 3 hour part three, break, 3 hour part four on the next day. Like it'd have to be really big. So I'll see. I'll see if I want to do it. I don't really need to do it, but it would be incredibly valuable. And that specific education, I don't really think I've had classes talking about that specific thing when it comes to futures trading. And it makes my it would it's an investment for me because I always have to tell. I'm like a broken record. I have to keep saying the same things over and over and over to people. But if I have that information in a class, I don't have to do that anymore. So, anyways, those are just my thoughts. I was gonna wait until to see if I got rewarded for perfect psychology or not this week, and I have been, luckily. But yeah, those are my thoughts. And yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Now, technically not perfect psychology. I'm going to remove the accounts that are available for payout in my group and only trade the accounts that aren't. I mean, all of them are technically, but not max. Because you guys know I scale up my PAs. Like I scale my group larger every red day to keep my psychology good and to spread my risk out. That's not perfect psychology, but I do not care. If I end up getting triggered into another trade and whatever the result is, I'll document it. So if it would have been better for me to not pull those accounts, and just keep trading till the end of the day, which is technically perfect psychology, then I'll document that. And after a couple times in a row, it's not really a big deal to me. After a couple times in a row of that being proven, like, hey, statistically, you're way better off doing this because almost every time it worked out better, then I'll change it. But it's too risk. It's too big of a risk to damage my psychology. What size accounts? I trade the 50K accounts, Pigeon. Ant-Man says, me right now, I'm still fighting. Bryce had 5 PAs and a Trump Insider candle wiped out 60% of my drawdown and profit I made on those accounts, working my way back up. Congratulations for working your way back up. Most people aren't capable of working their way back up. Most people, including myself for a long time, would just say, screw it, I'm not doing all that work again. I'm going to gamble for it to get back to where it was. And then, I end up blowing it. And then I end up regretting it after because starting from something is better than starting from nothing again. Could you tell us how to get access to that video? That masterclass isn't done yet, Oliver. But if you're in the Discord, you have all my lessons. Could be bullish consolidation, but it is continuation on a pivot. So I wouldn't be able to enter this bullish consolidation anyways. Uh, okay, Ant-Man's, no. Risen says, Bryce, I've said it from day one and say it again, which is you've got to be one of the realest dudes in the space. Yeah, I appreciate that. I still don't share everything. Like, I don't tell you guys when I blow a bunch of my accounts because it's just like, unfortunately, like, the hardest thing for me, especially in the mentorship, I mean, can you guys count how many lessons are in this server on psychology? And then I've been meeting, except group 4, I owe group 4 a bunch of meetings, but pretty much all of the mentorship groups, which are 4, I meet with each of those groups on average once a week. Okay. So all of those lessons and then all the mentorship meetings. Keep in mind, there's always been at least 4 mentorship group meetings every single week since March of 2024. So how many times have I had a lesson on psychology or taught psychology in like a smaller group setting, like one of those meetings? A lot. And you can imagine how many times I would make a stupid mistake and have terrible psychology and lose accounts. And then 2 hours later, I have to pull myself back up and talk about doing the exact things that I just did, or talk about why you shouldn't do the exact things that I just did, and cheer everyone else up when they're bouncing back. So I think that's one of the big reasons why my education is so hyper relatable, is because I'm genuinely a trader full time and I do this with you guys. And a lot of the psychology education, it's literally just firsthand experience, plus some added education from Mark Douglas, Tom Hugard, and Steenbarger. Um, but anyways, that's pretty freaking rough to do, but it keeps me like, that's why I have you guys to thank, and that's why I never, even though I could be on social media and just promote and try to sell a more expensive premium membership and sell a more expensive course, I could do all those things, but it's genuinely because of trading in this community with you guys for the past 6 years that I've been pushed. You guys literally push me to get back up and show up the next day, even though sometimes I really don't want to, or show up and do the lesson and learn for myself, even though I really don't want to. Um, so yeah, that obligation has really impacted my trading career quite a bit. And I mean, that's why my future strategy is a thing. My previous future strategy stopped working in freaking 2020, winter of 2024. It's because of you guys that I had to go through hell and really develop something brand new like what I'm trading now. And another baby bullish consolidation broke to the upside, would not have been able to enter. The only debatable difference is, could I have entered this pattern? I don't know. I don't really think so. But yeah, I cannot I cannot believe the same thing is happening today as yesterday. I genuinely cannot believe it. Look at this. Like, what are we doing here? The odds of the same day happening twice in a row are pretty much non-existent, but the same day happening twice in a row when the first day was such an extreme day, like, what are the odds of such an incredibly extreme day happening twice in a row? Seriously. Like, this is genuinely insane. Nice job, Alex. Did you trade calls again today? Or is that from, or are those profits from yesterday? Yesterday? Nice. Tim says this is a wonderful secret trading speakeasy of the internet. No, it really is. It really is, yeah. But again, also like for me, it's like if I know there's something wrong with my futures trading, or if there's something I can improve with my options trading, if there's just something I can improve with this community or my own trading, I do not want to advertise. I don't want to hop on social media. I don't want to do anything except focus on my own trading because I'm so obsessed with it. Um, and for the last 6 years that we've been around, there's always been something I need to fix or improve on my own trading or in this community. That's why I've literally never hopped on social media or advertised because I one of the few people that actually trade for a living and actually care about it pretty much more than anything in this world. And yeah, that's why it's such a closed off bubble that we're in because I only focus on my own trading and improving what we have here, which is not which is a terrible business plan. It really is. But again, it's not. I don't really see this much as a business. It's more of just a reason to wake up early every morning. Oh wait, Alex, this is today. What trades did you take today, Alex? Wait, how much money did you make between yesterday and today? Did you diamond hand calls twice, 2 days in a row? What are you up yesterday and today? Usually I don't ask people, but you already shared, so. Almost 10. Oh my God. There's no, I literally told Alex yesterday in the trade arena, Alex, please don't bag hold 0 day out of the money calls again for 4 hours or 3 hours straight. Please don't do it. What happened yesterday had no chance of working out, like 3%. And of course, the very next day, he does it again. And the 3% chance happens again, and we go straight up. There's no way you started with a freaking $400 portfolio, 15x'd it in 1 day yesterday to 6 grand or almost six, yeah, roughly 6 grand. Withdrew, started again today at like 500 bucks, and then like almost 10x that again today. That is freaking wild. Congratulations, dude. That is insane. But please don't trade again. Please don't do that again. Please take our advice. I mean, non financial advice, but I listen to the people in chat. Everyone's done stuff like that, and it reinforces a big bag holding skill that is not a very good skill to have. But regardless, congratulations, dude. Congratulations. I'm glad you withdrew at the minimum. That's awesome. I'm glad that'll help your restaurant out. Nitrosis says put it all on black. There's an idea I can get behind. Finally, something I can get behind in this server. Am I right? Alex made an extra 5 grand today just risking $300. You have to be freaking kidding me. It's wicked, dude. Congratulations. That is low-key jealous. Low-key jealous. I wish I can just risk a few $100 and make that much money. That'd be awesome. I have to freaking grind, make small profits consistently. $35 and 15. Okay, cool. Error mark Douglas, you can't control. Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. Awesome. I'm glad not that I teach people to take trades that long on 0 days, but I'm glad that the education in here led you to do that because, yeah, that's awesome. Glad to hear that. Are you trading on prop firm? Yeah, futures is prop firms. Yeah, I have no reason to trade my own money with futures. Not at all. My accounts usually don't survive more than 2 or 3 payouts, which is my goal, right? I want to get to the point where my accounts survive to the max of 6 before they're removed, right? My accounts statistically have only lasted about 2 or 3 payouts, which is still way under my potential. My accounts usually don't last more than a couple months. So that's my goal. That's something that I'm working on. That's why I've mechanicalized my future strategy so much and focused on reducing the amount of deterioration. Yeah, I guess I mean, I didn't sell early because, well, I had no other PTs, but geez, dude. Operation Do Not FOMO 2 days in a, look how much above high a day we are. ES is up 200 points in just 2 days. And jeez, what the heck, man? Save some money for the rest of us. All right, well, I really don't have any more trades. If we bullish consolidate, I have to enter again, which I don't want to do. I don't want to keep chasing, but I can't even complain. I did remove the all the PA accounts that are available for payout. Um, so if this next trade is green, I'll write that that was a poor decision. And if that happens a few times in a row, I won't do that anymore. But what prop firm do we use? Yeah, Apex. Apex 100%. Used to start trading, Tony. So look at this channel. Read this entire channel, Tony. Most of the people in here don't even trade options in the morning. They just trade futures. But that's the nice thing with my options trading is I only do my TA on ES and NQ. So you can trade futures and still follow my analysis. Not you wouldn't really be able to follow my exact trades because I don't. I'm very big on one hard stop loss, one hard PT, no averaging down or averaging up on futures. So you have to trade a bit different than I have to trade options. But because I do my analysis on ES and NQ, which is one of the big reasons why I do it, all the people in here that trade futures are able to take advantage of my bias and compare it to their own. Very easy, right? So if I mark out pivots on my chart, that saves you time because, you know they're there and you can just quickly verify. Jeez. Don't FOMO. Y'all better not fold like a lawn chair. You don't see me doing it. You don't do it either. What was the news that the last 2 days is yeah, Fifi, Iran war coming to an end has been the news. And it's probably a lot more bullish than we think because this is probably all insider trading. Everyone knows that everyone in the government probably knows that the talks are going to end in a conclusion. They're going to conclude here soon. So this is probably a lot of insider trading here, honestly. Tony says, "Thanks, loving what I'm seeing in this community so far." Yeah, Tony, just again, I'm not trying to sell anything, but if you do end up going premium, please ping me and let me know in any of the chats in this server. We'll get you a success manager and get you started in the right direction. Because again, I don't want people joining just to pay a subscription just to try to make money off alerts. If you're going to join here, I need to, for my own sanity, I need to be able to rest assured that you're getting the value that you signed up for and you're actually making progress as a towards being the ultimate goal of a full-time trader. The $2,000 drawdown's not affected by a payout. What do you mean, Divinity? So the drawdown's 2,500, okay? Because I trade the intraday accounts, not the end of day accounts. They're so much cheaper to gamble. But anyways, no, I'll still have. I mean, after max payout, if I just take it right when max payout available, which I'm gonna do, if I end up losing accounts as a result, I will not do that anymore. Because normally I'd wait for like 4,600 to 4,500 in profit before taking a max payout. But on the legacy accounts, the max payout, the first one was 2,000. On the new accounts, uh, the first max payout's only 1,500. But also you got to keep in mind I'm size way down. I went from 1 mini on ES to 7 micros and 5 MNQ to 3 MNQ. right? So that naturally gives me a little bit more buffer. So after a max payout, I'll still have 2,000 in drawdowns. It's not a big deal. But if they do end up barely blowing, I'll write my notes that, I'll look at maybe waiting a bit longer. But for now, that's just what I'm doing. So all of you free people, please read this channel, The Path to Success, right? If you complete the path to success or you go through it, you earn this permanent discounts, like permanent. Your subscription is permanently cheaper. It's something that doesn't exist anywhere else. It's proprietary to this community. One of the reasons I hate growing and hate advertising, which I'm not really doing right now, but one of the reasons I hate doing that is because we have so many lessons in education in this server. By the way, shout out to ES for flipping strong only after I'm out of my trade. So unfortunate. But anyways, it's also a burden. Every new trader that joins the servers actually kind of burdensome to me because we have so much lessons and education in this place. I have to handhold every single person that joins the server to make sure they watch these lessons in this order at this time, so on and so forth. And, if a bunch of people join, it's a lot of handhold, which I don't like to do because, again, it takes away from my own trading. But the path to success does all of that for me. It's a complete A to Z. Here's what to study, in what order, and you get rewarded for doing so. Man, fantastic days to start the free week, though. Nothing but green trades on options and futures, not a single loss. So, you guys know me. That means we're fairly due for not a fantastic day. Luck always balances out, right? Super lucky days will be balanced out by unlucky days, and vice versa. Super unlucky days will be balanced out by lucky days. But I, on average, because the odds are in my favor, I have statistically a bit more lucky days than unlucky days. But kind of due to not be so lucky. So I would drop your expectations a bit for the rest of the week. But if crazy things keep happening for the next rest of the week, I will not complain. Right, I'm nowhere close to being able to enter a trade. ES is stronger at the moment. If we put in solid, clear, bullish consolidation, I can enter. I have no PTs anywhere near except this pivot on NQ. We're at the top of a 30-minute supply now. There's not really a big pivot up here, though. Set the chart low. Let me see. Yeah, not much. We have a fairly minor pivot here that I could probably trade to. I'm kind of hoping I don't enter another trade. I really don't want to enter longs again. But if we do bullishly consolidate, I am triggered into another trade as long as ES remains stronger, which it has been. And the indicator's still showing it. But I would need bullish consolidation and strong. So that doesn't happen. No more trades for me. Means start over the path to success. Yeah, if you leave, you have to start over the path to success. Yeah, that's correct. All right, guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to hop on the phone for a few minutes. I have a phone call to make, and I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe I have to enter another trade. I hope not, but I did remove those accounts. So, all right, give me a few minutes. I'll be back. All right, I'm off the phone. Okay, I don't really have clear strength. ES is a bit stronger still. If ES rejects here and puts in a bull pennant, I'm going to have to enter. I don't want to enter, but I'm trading on far less accounts, so there's definitely less risk going on. So that's what I'm watching for. If that doesn't happen, I can't enter here. I don't think I'm going to get another trade today, which is fine by me. I'm totally fine catching a small piece of a move each day and, every trade being green. It's not talking. Yeah, I haven't been really talking. All right, let's see. If ES pulls back here and stays stronger than NQ, I'll have to enter, but if strengths seem roughly even, then I'm not. Or if ES breaks high day, I can't. Honestly, guys, NQ might just be going for all-time highs today. It's still a ways away. Oh, wait, never mind. That's way too far away. But we could get to this big pivot all the way up here. At 29,797, but we do have a decent sized pivot in between here and there. It's not that big, actually. This is actually pretty small. Yeah, I can see us potentially getting a 29,797 today. But I only have 25 minutes left of futures trading, and it's going to be pretty boring. Hopefully. I hope it's boring. I don't really want to take anything else. So I'm going to hang out on my phone. ES just broke high day, so this cannot be bullish consolidation anymore. At least qualifying bullish consolidation. So I'm going to hang out on my phone. I'm nowhere near being able to enter anything. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the session is pretty quiet. But yeah, we did our job today. Absolutely blessed today. Incredible day on options. Great day on futures as well. This free event week here in Aurora Trading has been awesome. Been very happy with the results so far. Hopefully it continues throughout the week, but I do not expect more days like this. The fact that we had 2 in a row is insane. Right. If you guys have anything, questions or anything interesting you need to talk about in chat or want to talk about, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to hang out on my phone and doom scroll a bit to pass time. All right, this would be bullish consolidation here and potentially an entry, but not for me because it made a higher high here, so I can't. So like just like last time, it would have to do a two new oscillations in order for me to get in. But I'm okay not doing anything the rest of the 15 minutes. I'm still going to stay in voice and make myself available in case I do get triggered into something, because that's what I have to do. But I'm just hanging out on my phone and yeah, just passing the rest of this time of my future session. Make sure I don't miss anything that I'm supposed to take. All right, I'm back. Now, this still to me counts as bullish consolidation. It did get two defined oscillations. I can't give it the keyword though because it made the higher high. But to me, this is definitely bullish consolidation. We did get a nice break and continuation from it. Um, but no more trades for me. So the only thing that could have been different today, which would have been better, is this falling wedge. This is a huge toss up. NQ was chopping up at the time into supply and just above a pivot. I can't really give this bullish consolidation. I can give this falling wedge, which would be pattern, but even then, this was very gray area. So if anything, today could have been a little bit better. Um, but otherwise, yeah, both today and yesterday were perfectly optimal. My strategy didn't miss out on anything or make any mistakes. So, well, all right, we're pretty much at 9:30. I guarantee you that bullish consolidation big enough cannot form within 4 minutes to trigger me in. So that's it for me. Congratulations on the gains, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, I'm glad that things have been working out. This free week has been absolutely incredible, and I look forward to continuing to see you guys throughout the week. I got to review all of my morning's trades on options from today and yesterday in almost exactly 3 hours from now. And then, like I said, as far as the member strategy review, I think we'll do that tomorrow because I have a church event tonight. And of course, we always have those free late night study sessions at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, which is really nice for you West Coast people, or I guess you Mountain Standard time zone people as well. But yeah, just stay tuned for all the events. And if you guys need anything in chat, just ping me in free trading floor, and I'll answer it at some point today. Otherwise, my cards that I rushed order, the rough draft of them, of the first mini lesson series that I did, are actually arriving today. So I'll send you guys pictures of them, and I am so freaking excited for them, honestly. And I'm really excited for us to enter the phase of having physical education, such as books, documents, things like that, that you can have on your desk and use to just constantly brush up on your psychology, study something that you're struggling with, and just you have more access to the things that you need without having to watch a video every single time. Because watching videos is great, but it gets boring if that's the only way you learn. And so we are definitely evolving. But all right, you guys have a blessed day. Good luck if you guys continue trading. I cannot believe that the market is doing just this, but it is doing that. So yeah, congrats if you guys made money with me. I'll see you guys later for the trade review. And if I don't see you until tomorrow's live trading, have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we have another great day tomorrow.